These are good choices. This is Beater City. I mean, Pontiac didn't make mini cars uglier than the Phoenix. And this apparently was Dodge's imitation of a checkered taxi cab. Love the color. Now, the Nova wouldn't be too bad, but it's a four-door. The Russ got it about 20 years ago. A Tijuana taxi driver wouldn't sit behind the wheel of this old Ford wagon. 58 Impala, well, you could save the clip, except the Rust has got it, too. This Buick, double ugly. There's one exception, though. I'll bet out there is somebody trying to restore a 1958 Mercedes 190 sedan. I can tell you, under all that junk, the leather seats are almost perfect. The wood dash is intact. And take a close look at this grill shell. You could have that brand new for about 10 bucks. But it's too late, Ducko, because in about 5 minutes, these babies will be flatter than a cheap pizza. Paul?
Well, Steve, you might not have to wait as many as 5 minutes, because it's time for the monster trucks to come up and do a little serious crushing of their own. Nightlife 2 up on the line. Stomper 2 will be up as well. There's the Stomper. And at the proper signal, both of these will go down and do some serious crushing of those beautiful machines that you love so much.
This is kind of a test and tune opportunity for these two monster trucks. The serious competition begins a little later on tonight. But the serious crushing, well, that's going to happen right now. That Ford Mercedes, Paul.
Did you get the grill off of the thing, Steve?
I'll tell you, if I'd had some hand tools, I'd have tried to rescue that particular piece of equipment. There they go, Nightlife 2 and Stomper.
All right, just a little mound first, and then the crushing begins. As they come down the outside lanes, you've got a series of cars, and then this U-turn. Now, remember, they're four-wheel steers, so getting around this corner requires a little skill and dexterity from the driver. And then back down the center lanes, another jump, and across more cars.
You're looking at 40,000 pounds approximately, about 1,000 horsepower. These are all supercharged engines. The monster trucks exit the Astrodome. They'll be back in just a bit. Right now, it is time for some tractor pulling.
And over on the pulling course, it's the 5,800 pound. The full pull distance right now set at 295 feet here in the Houston Astrodome. But Steve, Ed Grovero is coming up in Blue Ox, and he's really going to help set the standard.
Yes, he is. In fact, they call the first man to hook the test puller. If they don't like what they see, they can change the distance, they can change the weight in the weight transfer device, and start the class over again. So Grovero may have two opportunities to pull tonight. Then again, if everything's right, this will be his only chance to hook to the sled. Now, that noise you hear is not the Blue Ox big Chevrolets idling at 8,500 RPM. There's another track over on the other side of the Astrodome, and TNT again presents really a three-ring circus with trucks, tractors, monster trucks, the whole deal. The crowd loves it, as you can see. A big crowd in this Monster Dome Stadium.
All the tiers filled here with fans of tractor pulling. Now, here we're going to get a good opportunity to see the mechanics of what happens before the pull begins. As he backs up, you look for that light. You see that white light? That tells the man who's going to do the hookup that the machine is in neutral and it's safe to get back in behind the machine and work. And then, of course, the hookup is done. And, Steve, there's also some other safety considerations in case the tractor would pull free.
Absolutely, Paul. There's an electrical cutoff that is hooked to the sled. Should the tractor get loose from the chain, there you see a hook being made right there. It will cut off the electrical system to both of those engines. So Ed Grovero right now eases into the throttle just a bit to take the slack out of the chain, and he is set for the first pull in the 5,800-pound modified class. Pours the power to it, not all at once, but just applying whatever he feels will keep those tires from spinning too much.
Front end comes up and planes off just a bit, but he's got a good run going here now as he bounces the front end back to the ground, maintaining good control on the machine, and finally spins it to a stop. But, Steve, that's a great-looking pull.
It sure is. 291.59 feet. As you said earlier, the full pull distance is 295, so he was less than 4 feet away from it.
Now let's take another look at this run by the Blue Ox. He starts out the rear wheels, those massive rear wheels, spinning up as he lays about 2,500 horsepower to the track. Now the front end begins to turn. You can see that the torque of the engine's literally trying to turn the whole rig upside down. The weight seems pretty well balanced as he powers down to really an excellent first run. Ed Grovero, the Blue Ox. Let's go down to Steve at the sideline.
Well, Eddie, they still haven't made the sled weight official, but it looks like it's just about perfect. It's tough, but not impossible.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty close. I don't know what that was, but we was close to the end. There's a bunch of good tractors back there yet, so we could have some full pulls.
If you had any pull with the officials, would you recommend they just leave it alone?
I believe I would leave it like that. I don't think I said it any better than that. It's a real good set right there.
Okay, good effort.
Thank you.
Well, Steve, the TNT officials agree with that. They're going to let the sled sit. It's balanced and ready to go, and 291.59 feet is, in fact, the distance to beat. Next competitor coming up is Jerry Fornash. It's an Allison aircraft engine-powered machine. Single engine out of those famous P-51 and 54, all the different fighters from the Second World War that now find such popularity in tractor pulls, and for a long time did the powering of the unlimited hydroplanes. One of those magnificent Ford-powered machines now ready on the line.
And at one time, Paul, they were the ideal engine for tractor pulling because they're torquey. They make all of their horsepower down on the low end. And that's really what you need here. But as the supercharged automotive-type engines have developed, they're kind of pushing the dear old Allison off into the corner.
Well, your other problem, of course, is that you're running out of those old engines. They haven't manufactured them for over 40 years now, and to find parts for one, you just can't go down to your local auto parts store.
And with as many cylinders as you've got in an Allison, it's an all-day job just to change the spark plugs and the oil. Okay, the tractor they call Lurch is hooked to the sled. Can he beat 291 feet? A single-engine, 12-cylinder Allison trying to top the distance set by 16 cylinders, a supercharged Chevrolet.
Over 1,700 cubic inches, 2,000 horsepower as Jerry Fornash powers it down the strip. Having his problems, though, with balance still, he's really getting an excellent run out of that Allison-powered machine. It's a tractor, by the way, that he's been running several years now, 283.4 feet. So while he did not beat the distance set by Ed Gobro, it's still an excellent run. Now let's go back and take a look at this one once again. At first, as he lays the power, everything's looking pretty good. The wheels are biting nicely. The weight on the sled now transfers forward, making it more difficult. And there is where the problems begin, as the front end comes way up in the air. Jerry tries to get it planed out, but never really successfully gets that done. Well, now let's go down to the sideline. Steve is with Jerry Fornash.
Well, Jerry, it looked like you had to use just about every horsepower the old girl had to get that 283.
All she had. I had it balanced about right. I made as good a shot as I can. The rest of them beat me. They got a better machine.
You know, the past couple of years, this track has favored the early pullers. What about tonight?
I don't know. We were talking about it down there at the starting line. We can't decide whether it's going to go back in or whether it's going to fall apart for the last man.
Gave it everything you had.
I give her my best shot.
He always does. Jerry Fornash.
So 2 runs now complete here in the Houston Astrodome. Plenty of action ahead as Richard Popham is ready to fire up and make his run. We'll be back with that action after this.